Windscale, the pride of Britain. Nestled in the picturesque Lake District, the state-of-the-art atom plant has transformed this rugged landscape into the envy of its northern neighbors. Scientific progress waits for no one.
Windscale. Everything changed when that bloody atom plant went up in flames.
What is this?
Citizens of Wyndham, there has been an increase in bandit activity outside the village walls.
Temporary quarantine, they said? It's been bloody years.
They're hiding something from us. Something terrible.
Yeah, I'm definitely getting Fallout vibes from this. What is this?
My name's Molly. You got out to trade? I got bits and bobs for sale.
And it's in the Lake District of England, which is beautiful. Post-apocalyptic. We got caverns. Dude, this is definitely giving me Fallout vibes.
Please be careful. It's more dangerous than you can possibly imagine.
Tell me more. What is this? Ooh, creepiness. Atomfall. Wow, I've never even heard of this. March 2020. Oh, that would be cool to roll into
mystery mixed
after
with folk horror weirdness.
Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 and Avowed.
So idyllic post-war British countryside, and believe it or not, it's based on a true story. Really? Well, here with more on Atomfall, please welcome Creative Director for Rebellion, Ben Fisher. Hey,
I think this is going to be a March game for us, guys.
First time here, or?
Been here for Gamescom before.
Yeah. But not with a game quite like this, right?
No, let's talk about that, Ben. Actually, you're right, Henry, because this is
this looks really cool.
Departure from Rebellion's most famous series, let's call it Sniper Elite. Can you tell us about this?
They built the Sniper Elite
change of pace here?
Sure. I mean, it's similar and it's different in different aspects of the game. So we always value sandbox exploration and giving the player lots of freedom in their objectives. But at the same time, this is a survival action game with some sort of RPG-ish elements. There's skills, there's crafting.
No tortillas,
the story of the game unfolds as you explore. It's kind of a mystery game, so tonally quite different to Sniper Elite.
I love the exploration side of it. I mean, from what we just saw in the quick trailer, there's a lot going
That means
on.
the gunplay is going to be really good in this game as they move into a different story genre.
So maybe as we're checking out some gameplay that you brought along that we can experience,
good gameplay.
We can jump into some of the influences that have made it into this title, because, like I said, it's a lot going on here, man. So let's check out some of this gameplay as well. Got to start off with a post box.
Yeah.
Yeah. Where else?
I mean, it's on your T-shirt as well.
I think this is a must-play for March, guys.
Of Atomfall, I assume.
It is actually. So, as you explore the world of Atomfall,
Oberon must die.
You're uncovering a mystery. You're discovering what's happened in this post-apocalyptic quarantine zone in 1950s north of England.
1950s.
Different characters will ask you to do things for them, and they might help in return. And one of the characters that you can interact with is this mystery phone voice.
Thank you.
You don't know who they are, you don't know what they want, and you have to choose which characters you trust and don't trust.
Chris just gave me an omelet with yogurt on top and said, "Here's a napkin. Don't leave yogurt in your mustache."
Cool. You know, speaking about the story, and Henry, you mentioned it earlier. True story. Like, what is that about?
Yes. Well, yeah. It's based on real-world disaster that happened. The first major nuclear disaster in the world was in Windscale plant in Sellafield, so 1957. We wanted to use that as a jumping-off point for a story. So Jason Kingsley, one of the owners and founders of Rebellion, observed that there are lots of games that are kind of like post-atom storytelling, like post-atomic disaster storytelling, but none set around this first disaster that's happened in the world.
I am doing
so
well,
we took
Rosa.
that as a starting point and then thought, what's a
Tortillas y
Rebellion
sal.
interpretation of that kind of event? So,
Cuando no hay nada
like
más
I
de
say,
comer.
we value that kind of sandbox exploration and player freedom.
I'm totally going to eat
and then
while we're watching
combine that
this,
with
guys.
the sort of unique Britishness, and that led to the environment that we've got in the game. So it's kind of an alternate history story, and it's a mystery that you uncover what's happened. And as part of the process of building that game world,
this is a must-play, guys. We're now slotting this
at
into March.
1950s
I'm telling you right now. This is going to be a March
references
game.
like Quatermass series, which is one of the very earliest sci-fi serials, or like early Doctor Who, and things like that. So like UK TV Gold kind of cultural reference points that even if people don't know the reference itself, they know the influences that came from it. And at the time, there wasn't a clear distinction between like folk horror and sci-fi and those kind of stories. So it's a blend, it's a natural blend in the storytelling style of the 50s.
And of course, you had to chuck some cricket bats in there for good measure. I mean, the combats are pretty crunchy, right? I mean, this is, like you say, a bit of a departure from Sniper Elite, which is typically long range, but in here we're getting right up, even the fact that it's first-person camera as well. Like, these are conscious decisions you've made. So why did it feel right for Atomfall to treat it that way?
So in the case of Sniper Elite, you are an elite trained sniper. You know, Carl Fairbairn's like a human sniper rifle, right? He knows exactly how to fire a shot, miles to take out that one guy. This is a different character in a different situation. We wanted it to be a mystery, so there are no signifiers of age, race, or gender for the player character. They're wearing gloves, so you don't know who they are. Their backstory is part of the mystery that you may or may not uncover as you explore. We wanted you to feel more like it's not so much a war zone as a pub brawl. You're desperately attempting to survive. There's not much ammo around. The guns are all rusty because everyone's been trapped in this quarantine zone for 5 years. You're mixing melee and ranged combat. You can throw your melee weapons. You can kick people to make them stagger back.
It sounds like it's a confined environment.
Desperately mixing options and scavenging
which is a
for
smaller,
resources.
you know, it's
So
not
there's
going to
a
be a big
real
open world game. It's a
tension
smaller linear
as you
game.
play, which
I'm
is
fine
very,
with
very
that.
tonally different to Carl, who's calm and controlled and reads an entire situation before he decides what to do.
I think we can definitely get on board with the pub crawl.
Yeah. My entire playthrough is like it's a scene from Kingsman basically, and it's gonna feel good. It's gonna feel great.
Talking about Kyle and you know that he's an iconic character. What about the characters in Atomfall? Our player character isn't maybe so much of the focus, but are there other people that we're going to meet that are going to be key?
Yeah. So I need to have the right answer that doesn't spoil too many things. But as you explore the game world, different characters will ask you to help uncover the mystery of what happened in the Windscale plant and maybe ask you to do something when you get there. And if you do that for them, they might try and find you a way to escape this quarantine zone, or they promise to. So as you explore, you've got to decide who you trust and who you don't trust, whether you think they're telling the truth or trying to manipulate you, whether you believe the same things as they do. So it's all murky shades of grey. There's no good guys and bad guys, and it's all completely open to the player. So you could theoretically kill every character in the game, and there's still a way to finish the game. You could theoretically play through and kill no one, and there's other routes available to you. So we really pushed hard.
He literally just, I'm glad he prefaced it by theoretically you could. Because remember that video we watched about Sean Murray?
So there's lots of tropish,
you know, people read
characters,
things
lots of
into videos.
He just confirmed.
He just confirmed that you can beat the game even if you kill all the NPCs. He said theoretically.
Yeah, I like that. I mean, as a fellow Scot, Ben, really quick, are there any maybe Scottish people in there that we can look forward to meeting? I'm sorry.
Spoilers, but what we have done is we've taken like 1950s sci-fi, 1950, or like old-fashioned folk horror type trope characters and Cold War scientist trope characters, and you'll meet those kinds of people as you explore through the game, and then still decide whether you trust them or not.
Okay.
So we got pub rules, we got crazy characters. They're all living in this open world that we're experiencing. Can you tell us more about that? How did you construct it? How big is it as well?
Okay, well, what Rebellion excels at is these deeply packed kind of sandbox maps. So the way that we've structured Atomfall is a series of like 5 or 6, depending on how you count, sandbox maps like the one you can see just now.
So
you can
confined
travel
linear environment
between them at any time. They're all thematically very, very different. And then there's loads of interiors and like large-scale, story-driven locations that you might uncover, as well as bunkers that are full of loot.
Somebody better say something about get you over in my mustache.
What we wanted to do is really lean into that
otherwise my wife will yell when she
kind
comes
of
in.
puzzle box.
I told you to use
so
your
I've
napkin.
spent all day watching people play the game, and no two playthroughs have been the same. People can approach it all very, very differently, get different experiences. As you explore the game, you'll find leads as well. So we don't have a kind of quest system. We've got leads that you piece together clues that help you understand what's happening. So we built this puzzle box, the sandbox of interconnected options for the player, and then we just let them go for it. They might find a difficult, dangerous place and die, but we signpost very clearly that it's a dangerous place, and then it's kind of up to them what happens.
That's right. I love a puzzle. I'm buzzing.
Yeah.
we're great at solving them together, to be fair.
Well, we could work on it. I mean, you just said that there'll be leads that players can follow to tell us a bit about.
Can we
how
build a
they're
settlement?
equipped.
It doesn't
So
sound
we
like
just
this is
saw,
going to be a settlement
literally
building
pulling out
game.
a metal detector and taking part in that great British tradition of finding some old coins or whatever it could be. But what are the other ways we can do that?
Yeah, so you might find a lead that someone's hidden in a box under the ground somewhere. They've, a bit of storytelling around it to draw the player in and make them try to understand how it fits to the game world. But there's also characters that you might find in the world. There's friendly characters that you can barter with, and they might sell you or rather trade something with you which has a lead in it. Or if you do some trade with them, they might get friendly to you and give you a lead. You can also have conversations with characters, and if you choose the right choices, you might get some more information from them. The way that we've approached those is the same kind of high stakes player freedom. So you can get the conversation wrong, right? You're not working your way down a list of conversation topics until they grey out and then moving on to the next one. It works more like a real conversation. So if you judge their personality wrong and say the wrong thing, they might shut down and stop talking to you, and you've pruned a chain of leads that you might otherwise have found something interesting in the game world. So you're always having these influences and layers that you may even not notice are there.
That sounds so smart. I can't wait to dive into that as well. That's so cool. I understand there's some crafting elements in that as well, and also, metal detectors, scavenging. Can you tell us what that kind of looks like in Atomfall?
Sure. So the player's desperately trying to survive and finding materials to help them survive. Yeah. So even if they find a gun, there might be 3 bullets for the gun. So they can
limited
find
ammo.
materials that let them craft things to help them heal or help them in combat, so Molotov cocktails and makeshift grenades and things like that. So you find yourself trapped into a corner and you can make these resources that help you survive. Like I say, we're trying to make sure that we find this sweet spot where you feel kind of desperate as you're trying to survive. We want you to use everything that you find. We've made sure your backpack capacity is quite limited as well, so you're really pushed to make these difficult choices and decide even whether you want to engage.
That's going to trigger some people.
I can't carry everything. I'm not going to play. Hey.
5 guys with a Molotov.
I don't want to play
really,
Inventory
really
Manager
stakes,
101.
But it makes it very rewarding when you manage to pull something off.
That's the thing, though. It does feel rewarding when you can figure it out with a limited
restricted
inventory.
area. Already seen a ribcage. I mean,
yeah. I mean, so
this is going to go great.
Like I mentioned earlier, if you're heading into somewhere difficult or dangerous or scary, we make sure and signpost it. So if you go into a place like that and then you die, you go, oh, I should have guessed. There was a skeleton outside.
Yeah, that one's on me.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
To be fair, I'm very good at ignoring red flags, so we'll see about that.
And in terms of the player's progression then, so you're making all these decisions, you're making friends with everybody, you're crafting your gear. What about skills, anything like that in the game?
Sure. So there's a range of skills that help reinforce the player's ability to survive in this dangerous world. So
this is a deep dive into Atomfall. This is really informative, guys. This is definitely in our March slot now.
Durability skills that mean you can take more damage and survive in dangerous areas. And then also
definitely slotted into
March. Your overall
this is a must play for me. Looks awesome.
Things like that. So really we wanted to keep it grounded so that there's always that sense of threat and pressure, but we wanted to give you some advantages. So you might learn a skill that lets you throw a melee weapon, and if it's bladed, it'll stick in targets and things like that, just to help give you that edge over the course of the game.
Some sort of creepy monsters.
Location here, they're in a kind of dark and then scary interior. So we've got the player's progression, but then
feral.
there's also a kind of game world progression where they're uncovering a mystery. So quite literally, they have to push deep into the world and into the underground of the world to find these dark and scary places. We try and keep it tense the entire way through the game.
I was going to say, because there is the sci-fi element, but there's a bit of horror vibes I'm getting too. So with us competing with people maybe on a top level, and now we've got into this bunker, there must be some monsters of some kind.
Yeah, we just saw a little glimpse of something scary and monstrous, and as you push into the mystery, you will find more elements influenced by what happened. But yeah, for sure. I mean, like I said earlier, the storytelling style of the 50s and 60s.
Are they a Scottish
really
company?
Have a division between
I don't know enough about
the
the Sniper Elite.
Like a blend for a certain
I know
kind
of the
story.
game. I don't know enough about the company behind it, which is the
Addressing
company
Cold
behind
War,
this.
but in a way that wasn't too political, I guess. So, folk horror stories are about the division between rural and urban civilization and how there's a tension between them, and Cold War stories are about fear of the outsiders and others and that sort of thing. And there's thematic resonances between all of these different storytelling styles, which
Atomfall
make it
is
really
a
easy
survival
for us
action
to
game.
push into these otherworldly horror elements as you push into the mystery.
Nice. That's so sick.
We've got quite an atmospheric.
They're a British
bunker,
company
like
from
we said
Oxford.
as well.
Rebellion Developments.
Have you got a favourite part of the maps that you can share us with? Again, nothing. I'm really pushing it here, but any favourite place to maybe.
They're best
have
known
a
for their Sniper
picnic or
Elite
anything
games
like
and
that?
multiple games in the Alien
actually,
vs.
there is a favourite
Predator
secret
series.
place, which I can tell you about a little bit. So, as the player,
They've
is
also published comic
starting the
books
game, they're
since
given one
2000,
lead.
such as
The
2008
person tells them
AD.
that
The
heart
redone
of this mystery is
Judge
located
Dredd
called the
and so
Interchange.
Judge Dredd
So to
Rogue
begin with, you're
Trooper.
trying to find this place.
Okay.
As you make your way in, it's all unpowered. It's been shut down. It's been quarantined, and you push into it and open it up more and more, and it's like an unfurling flower as you find all of
They
these
have
leads at the heart
475
of the
employees.
mystery.
They're a pretty big
And the
company.
more you find,
All right.
the more leads there are to find. So you end up in this kind of like
I've never
snowball
played
effect.
any of the Alien vs. Predator games.
He's just picked up a Cornish pasty.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
stunning.
Yeah. Well, this is pre-Greg's era, I suppose. So we'll take what we can get for now.
That's brilliant.
Just
Oh
don't
my
ask what
gosh.
meat's in it.
I don't want to know. I don't want to know.
It's really fun for me to see like the contrast between that dank bunker we just came out of, and then like the overworld is so lush and vibrant. And listen, I've been to the north of England. It's not always this green, so
Sometimes.
yeah, exactly. I mean, I live in London, and it's just grey all the time. So any green I can get is good. But
They've worked on a ton of games.
Yeah, exactly.
Huh? That's just
So,
me being ignorant about who
will
they
we
are.
see many other types of biomes or environments in the game as well?
Yeah, so one example would be there's a woodland nearby, but it has more of a kind of spooky folk horror-ish tone. As you get into it, it feels more mysterious and occult. And there's a group of kind of pagans that if you tread wrong, they'll cut your face off with sickles, you know. Or you can find a friendly character who's sort of part of that group and talk your way into their compound. So we give you all these different options to, you know, for whichever faction there are, ways to befriend them or get in a fight with them. Yeah,
I like
exactly.
that as well. Very good. I mean, I think we, especially at Xbox On, are super excited for Atomfall and to check it out.
You're welcome.
And maybe even come across ourselves, because Henry and I and Charlie have actually been scanned into the game, which we're very excited to maybe come across ourselves. Oh, there we are.
Yeah.
There's Henry getting his wee...
Yeah, I have to say it's maybe not the most flattering, you know, methods of doing it, but what are you actually doing to me there? Because I just signed something and agreed to show up dressed as a big baby, and apparently that's for something. But
Yeah, no,
what
this
did
is
you
all
guys
just a
do?
massive scam.
Oh,
Yeah,
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 I thought so. Yeah. What is it that you guys have to do to get someone scanned into your games? Because the realism is quite impressive.
Sure. So we go through a highly detailed scanning process of every angle of your face and different configurations. So we get wrinkle maps and things like that. Then,
I'm perfect.
of course, yeah. So we didn't bother with the wrinkle maps. So they're all assembled by character artists and rigged so they can animate. And then we, in the case of Atomfall, we then put that in a sort of character builder system. That means we can put costumes on the characters. We might grub your face up a bit because, you know, they've been surviving for 5 years without washing machines and soap. And then we just find exactly the right spot for each kind of memorable face in the game.
That's really cool.
I'm
That they
I'm definitely
more
looking
people
out
in.
for where I am. If I'm on an enemy, that's okay. I've always wondered what I'd look like if I had a cricket bat to the face. So this is great. And you're going to be getting scanned in pretty soon.
Yeah, I can't wait. As long as you put some fake eyelashes on me as well, then
I'll make a note. Yeah.
Are you in the game as well? Have you been scanned?
No, I haven't been scanned yet.
Okay.
No. You have to shave a beard off if you want to get.
Yeah, you had to do that.
That was fun.
Yeah.
It was just the beard that we had to shave. Right.
Was awesome.
Honestly,
May have
cannot
done
wait to
the
play
full
this
body
game.
and
It
not
looks
needed it.
bonkers. It looks British as heck. And
No, we have not
we're
gone
gonna
back and
play it
played
so
More
much
New
on
Man's
launch
Sky
and
yet.
stuff.
That was at the beginning of
Thank
the
you so
stream.
much, Elizabeth,
We're
for
still,
stopping by.
it's still the
Enjoy
live
the rest
stream,
of
so.
Gamescom, and yeah.
Excellent. Thank you very much.
And we are going to be taking a little look at some other games, but your game's coming out in 2025 on Xbox Game Pass, which is great.
Oh, it's going to be a
Next
Game
up,
Pass game
we're gonna be
too.
throwing it back.
Definitely going to play
Age
this
of
then, for
Mythology
sure.
retold.
That's even more
But
reason to want to
before
play
we
it.
do that,